Hello and welcome to this Python tutorial. Alright, so in the first two steps of the cleaning process, what we did is first kept all the letters from A to Z, whether they're capital letters or not, and then we put all the letters of the review in lowercases. And now, as a third step, we will do a very important step in the cleaning process, which is to remove the non-significant words. That is the words that are not relevant into predicting whether the review is positive or negative. These are all the words like the, that, and, in, all the articles, all the prepositions, that sort of words that, don't help the machine learning algorithm to predict whether the review is positive or negative. For example, if we have a look at this first review here, wow, love this place, well, of course, the word that is helping the algorithm to predict if it's a positive review is the word loved. The algorithm will clearly make some correlations between the word love and the fact that a review is positive. We might have a lot of other reviews with the word loved or love, which indicates that the person really liked the restaurant. But then when we look at the word this here, well, this doesn't give any hint whether the review is positive or negative. If the review was, wow, hated this place, well, the review would become negative, but this would still be here. So basically, this word is totally irrelevant, and that's why we can remove it, because, our goal in the end is to avoid too much sparsity in the sparse matrix. And, since in the sparse matrix, each word has its own column, well, it would be totally unuseful to attribute a column for this word this here and the same kind of words like that, it, prepositions, and so on. So what we'll do now as a third step of the cleaning process is get rid of these kinds of words here, because they're totally irrelevant to predict if the review is positive or negative. Alright, so to do this we will need a new library, which is the very famous NLTK library, and that contains a lot of classes, functions, datasets, texts to perform natural language processing. So let's first start by importing this library. So we'll add here import NLTK. Here we go. And now we need to do one more thing. We need to import the tools in this NLTK library here that will help us remove these kind of words. So what is this tool going to be? It's going to be a list of words. And this list of words will contain all the words that are generally irrelevant in a review or any text, to predict the category in which the review or the text belongs. And so all these words are in a list of this NLTK library, and therefore we will download this list of words. And this list of words is called stop words. And so then what happens is that we will go through all the different words of the review, and we will remove all the words of the review that are present in this stop word list. So let's do it. Let's download the stop word list. And to do this, we need to use the download function from this NLTK library. And so here we add a dot and then download. And then in parentheses, that's where we input in quotes stop words, like this. So let's do it. Let's download this stop words list. I actually downloaded that list before, and I downloaded all the material in NLTK. I can also show you how to do that if you're interested. You just need to ask a question in a Q&A, and I'll tell you how to download all the material of NLTK in one shot. But right now, we will only need the stop words list, and therefore we only need to select these two lines. And I'm going to execute these two lines here, but as you will see, I get this message, package stop words is already up to date. So if you haven't downloaded the stop words package yet, some download will be running, and then in the end you'll have the stop words package, which contains this list of these different irrelevant words that we want to remove from our review. Okay, so that's done, that's a good thing. And now what we'll do is make a for loop for our review here, our first review, wow, love this place, to go through all the different words of this review, and then for each of the different words, we see if the word is present in this stop words list, and if that's the case, we remove the word from the review. All right, so let's do it. So the problem right now is that review is a string. So, it's not a list of the different elements wow loved this place. It is just one string where the different words of this string of the review are not separated. So what we'll need to do now to be able to go through the different words of the review is to actually split the review into different words. And that way we will be able to go through the different words of the review thanks to our for loop. All right, so let's do it. Splitting the review into its different words is very easy. We just need to take our written review again, which is nothing else than this variable review, then equals, and then again we take review, that so far is the string here, wow, love this place, and then just as before we add a little dot here, and this time the function that we're going to use is split and parentheses. All right, and that's all. We don't need to input any parameter. This split function will split the review right now, which is a string, into different words, and therefore the review will become a list of its different words. So let's check it out. I will select this line and you'll see what happens. Execute, and as you can see now, the review is now a list of 4 elements, because the written review previously had 4 words, wow, loved this place, and now these 4 words just became the 4 elements of this new list that was created thanks to this split function. Good, so now we can use a for loop to go through the different words of this list and therefore see if we can remove some irrelevant words of this list. So we guess very well that the words that are going to be removed is actually only one word. It's this word here, because it's very likely to be in this stop words list. All right, so let's do it. Let's update our review variable again. So review equals here, and now that's where we make our for loop. So since review is right now a list, we will use a shortcut here to directly update our list in the for loop. So what we'll do now is add some brackets, and we're going to use our for loop into these brackets. Okay, so what are we going to input in these brackets? Well, the first thing we'll do is to go through all the different words of the review. And we will do that thanks to the for loop. So we just need to write here word for word in review. That means that for the different word components of the review, which are wow, loved, this, and place, we include this word in our list review here. All right, so far we haven't done anything yet related to these stop words, and that's what we'll do right now. We will add one condition to remove the words that are not relevant, that is the words that are in this stop words list. And therefore, to remove these words, we need to add an if not condition, because we want the different words of our review not to be in this stop words list. So that's why it's easier for us to use an if not here. And now try to guess what we need to add. Well, we actually want to include the word in our review if the word is not in the stop words list. And so very simply, we need to add here stop words. But that's not all, since stop words is actually a package containing different lists of words in different languages. Well, here, since the reviews are in English, we need to make it easier for our program by telling it to only look at the English words. And to specify this, we need to add here dot words here, and then in parentheses and in quotes, English. All right, so now what does this line mean? Well, that means that thanks to this for loop here that is going through the different words of the review, we are taking all the words in the review that are not in this stop words list, and more precisely the list of English words that are not relevant in text. So that's a good thing, we did the main job. And now we need to do a few little things to make it work. So speaking of these little things, let's have a look at what this warning is telling us. It says that we have an undefined name stopwords. Well, indeed, we downloaded the stopwords package, which means it is now present in the NLTK folder that you can find on your system. It is downloaded, but it is not imported in Spyder right now. And that's why we have this warning here to tell us that we need to import it, otherwise we cannot use this stopwords list of irrelevant English words. Alright, so it's very easy. We can import this stopwords package just below. So we're actually importing this package from nltk.corpus, because what happens in the end is that we're creating a corpus of all the different reviews that were cleaned through all this cleaning process, and so that's why we have this corpus here. So now from nltk.corpus import stopwords. Alright, and now all warnings disappear, and we can now use this stopwords package with the list of irrelevant English words. Great, and now we're done. We are ready to execute it, but just in case you have some bigger text than this simple review here, because right now, you know, our review is composed of only 4 words, but in case you're working with some articles which have a lot more words, well, what is highly recommended to do is to add this set function here that will take this stopwords.words English as an argument, as an input, and we're doing this because it will be way faster for your algorithm to go through all the different words in this stopwords English list, because simply in Python there are much faster algorithms that go through the different words in a set than in a list. So in our case that's not much useful, but in case you have some articles or books instead of a review here, well, it's way better to use this set function here so that your algorithm can execute faster. Alright, so we're done here. We did everything we had to do to remove the irrelevant words. So let's check it out right now. Let's actually not forget to select and execute this line here to import the stopwords package. And so now we can select this line here to remove the irrelevant words. So let's do it. Let's press Command and Control plus Enter to execute. Here we go. Review updated. Now let's have a look. Our review is now a list of 3 words: wow, loved, and place. So as expected, the list word was an element of the stopwords.words English list of irrelevant English words, and therefore was removed from the review. So great, another step of the cleaning process done. And so now we're ready to move on to the next step, which is about stemming, and as a reminder consists of only keeping the root of the different words to simplify the review even more. And so we'll do that as the next step of the cleaning process in the next tutorial. Until then,